Okay, I'm going to assume that we can see it. Do I get a thumbs up, Allison? I just saw you had your light on. Okay, I'm hoping everybody can see this. Okay, so we're going to be talking about visiting with your loved ones during the holiday. Ideas and things to make your visits more engaging. We need to recognize as people enter into long-term care, life is changing, right? I mean, it's changing dramatically. And, the holidays might not look the way they looked when somebody lived at home. And if this is a person's first year of celebrating the holidays outside of what they previously had considered home and at the new place where they're now residing, it can bring a lot of emotions into play. So we're just going to be talking about what we can do to try to make this feel a little bit better for people. And we just want how we can make it become more of a pleasurable experience for individuals. So I would like for you guys right now to take some time while I'm talking about this and put into chat some of your favorite holiday traditions that you have for yourself. Whatever holidays it is that you share. Maybe if you want to share the holiday that you put into the chat, the holiday that you share, if it's outside of the Christmas holiday, which it seems that's where we focus in on our attention this time of year, right? But there are many other holidays also being celebrated this time of year, and I'd love to hear from people regarding that as well. So type into the chat, what are some of your favorite holiday traditions? Is it baking cookies, writing Christmas cards, sitting looking at a fireplace, looking at your Christmas tree? Just put some of that stuff into the chat just to kind of give me some insight into how you currently like to spend your time during the holidays. So one of the things that we want to do is really want to personalize the experience for the individuals that are living in long-term care. What can we do that can bring their past to their current living situation? So we want to take a look at some of those traditions that we've carried out through the course of the individual's life and see if we can bring those is there a way that we can integrate that into their current life situation? But we also, while we're doing that, we need to take a look to see, are we just doing these things because they always did it? But maybe it was a burden for them to do it. Like you look at the individual who always put up the big Christmas tree, and they did it because they were hosting the entire family coming over. And so they wanted to have the big Christmas tree up, but they really didn't enjoy putting it up, taking it down, doing any of that in-between stuff. And they only did it for their family, to make the family happy, not for themselves. I can speak to that because I have a little bit of that going on with myself. I used to do the big tree, and I was the only one decorating it, and everybody would sit around and watch me decorate it, and I don't want to do that anymore. So a couple of years ago, I cut back, and I got a skinny tree, and I basically keep it decorated all year round. I throw a bag on top of it, it goes into the garage, and it comes back out every year. So I don't have to keep redecorating it every year. So that's what I've done for myself. But if my family thought that I wanted the big traditional tree and all that, it wouldn't be what it is that I wanted. So you have to take a look and see, what did the person do that they had to do, and what is it they really want to do, and really personalize that for them. So especially if the person has dementia, we want to make sure that we're being really mindful here if your loved one has a dementia-related diagnosis, because sometimes too much stimulation cannot be a good thing, right? We recognize that with people with dementia. If they get overly stimulated, we can have an adverse reaction that can happen, and we might get them upset. So take a look and see, really critically look and see, what did mom, what did dad, what did my sister, what did my aunt, what is it that she liked to do around the holidays? What seemed to bring that genuine joy as opposed to the obligations that also come around from the holiday? So I'm hoping I see some numbers in the chat going up, and I'm hoping people have shared. Thank you for the thumbs up, people, for seeing it. So I'm seeing some things now. Family dinner. A family dinner, doesn't that right in your mind? It can bring such great memories, just people sitting around together, chatting, laughing, maybe holding hands and saying a prayer, carving the turkey, carving the roast, doing some of those traditions, lighting candles. There's a lot of different traditions that can come just around sitting around that dinner table. Thank you, Linda, for sharing that. picking out a tree and decorating it. And that's something that I never did. And I always was kind of jealous of those families that did that, that went and they picked out the tree, they cut down the tree. And it seemed like such a celebratory experience. So thank you for sharing that, Allison. Oh, no, I love this one, Danica. Karaoke. You guys are doing karaoke at Christmas. I love that. So much fun. I might have to adopt that one. As our family is getting bigger and the kids are getting older, it's always fun to integrate some laughs, right, into the night, into the day, into the experience. Movie nights with family. Peach, I see that you wrote that. Thank you for that. Are they traditional movies? You know, I mean, we were talking about that last night with some friends, looking at It's a Wonderful Life. And they were a little bit younger, and she had never heard of It's a Wonderful Life. If none of you have heard of that, you've got to watch that movie. It's guaranteed to bring some tears to you. We've got another family dinner. Wearing PJs and baking cookies. The director of Shenanigans, by the way, absolutely positively love that. And wearing PJs and baking cookies. How much fun is that? A game night. Another wonderful, fun thing to do. I just got a game for my birthday last month that I can't wait to start playing because I do like to play games. So what a great thing. And I might have to pull that out on Christmas. So thank you for that suggestion of having games. Christmas is my favorite holiday when I spend time with friends and family, cook all kinds of food, and be thankful for another year. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, the time just to be together. Sometimes that's all it is. Very small, yet mildly decorated Christmas tree for all residents' bedrooms. Oh, that's really nice. Sherry, that's really sweet that you do that for them. Wonderful. You had that idea years ago. I love it. And I'm looking at these ideas that you all put into the chat. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why can't we do each and every one of these for people that live in long-term care? Let's think about that. How could we do that? Why couldn't we have family dinner? Why couldn't we invite families? And maybe it's a couple of dinner seatings because we have so many families and friends that we want to invite to come to dinner. Or maybe it's even making the offer for families to come and use a private, your conference room space, if that's the only space you have, to be able to host a family dinner. Even just calling the dinner a family dinner, to change a dinner from the name of just being another dinner to making it family dinner, recognizing that everybody who lives together in that long-term care community are family, right? They're family. We really want to encourage that. Picking out a tree and decorating. We could integrate that one with the idea of giving every resident a Christmas tree in their community. Why couldn't we get a bunch of Christmas trees, put them out, make a fake, fun little like parking lot kind of an idea where they're picking out their tree, and then they get decorations and they decorate their little tree, and then they bring it back to their room. Kind of simulate a little bit of that picking out the tree and decorating it. Karaoke, we know we've all done this in long-term care communities, right? Playing karaoke, having fun, singing Christmas carols, maybe going around and getting some staff even that go around, or even residents that serenade those people that don't come out of their rooms. Go room to room, put on a scarf, put on a hat, get some caroling music and go around and sing some Christmas carols. That could be a beautiful thing to do. Movie night. Why not invite the families to come on in for movie night? Set up the big screen TV. Even get one of those big screens that you can buy fairly cheap now, and projector with your phone, and be able to show one of these great movies. Rudolph, It's a Wonderful Life, Frosty the Snowman even, and just have fun with that. And integrate the idea of putting on the pajamas and baking cookies, right? Integrate that together. Have everybody wear their pajamas to the movie night and maybe bake cookies beforehand, or I do an intermission and bake the cookies during the intermission. So just thinking how we can do things. And all of these can be done in a very simplified manner. Just get creative with it and have fun. I see, Christmas caroling in your common area. I love that. With visiting lead singers, what a great idea. Have a music teacher bring in her students. Now that's a really beautiful idea. People love to see kids come in. And usually there is a Christmas concert, right? Many schools do Christmas concerts. Maybe your school, your long-term care community can become their practice. They could do a dress rehearsal at your long-term community where they're going to then be showing off their singing to all of you. They practiced hard for these songs, right? So let them get the opportunity to sing those songs twice. Once to their parents in their auditorium at their school, and the another in a day room in your community. Love these ideas, guys. These are just beautiful ideas, wonderful things, puts a smile on my face. Absolutely. Love these ideas. So, let's continue this. Does someone want to say something? If anybody wants to say something, please do not hesitate to raise your hand, turn your camera on, let me see your beautiful face so that we can you could share information with me. So for many, there's really value with being with family and friends, right? People. Go ahead, Sherry. Nope, go ahead, Sherry. I want to hear it.
The most important thing that I have found in every holiday is that people feel lost, left out, despairing.
Yeah.
And so it's important to check in with everyone each week to say, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? Especially if they look crestfallen. They may miss their children, their brothers, their sisters, whatever they have left, their home, and they don't want to continue, and they don't take care of themselves that well. So the holidays are especially desperate. That 98 line note for suicide. But in nursing homes, they just totally fade away.
Yeah.
So if you include even the most outliers, the most misbehaving, it can uplift all facilities. That's the thing.
Oh, Sherry, I think that's wonderful, and that's so important to be mindful of that, because that's exactly it. I mean, many people can actually start experiencing grieving during the holidays, right? Emotions can come up. I see these other residents have family around. I don't have family around, and it can just become you start sticking out like a sore thumb, and it brings your emotions to the surface. So everything you said, Sherry, is right on. We need to be so mindful about that, and invite people over, invite people to come in to your conversations. If you're visiting with your loved one, invite other people to be a part of that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? To invite other people. We did have a conversation a couple of months ago on grieving. I want to say it was in October. And remember, we do record these, and they're on YouTube. So I want to encourage, excuse me, those of you to be mindful of that and to listen to that presentation, that conversation that occurred back in October regarding grieving, because it really was a good conversation, and it brought some things to light, and it made people recognize that this is very natural, and we should be able to talk about it and be able to work our ways through that sort of thing. So Sherry, you were right on target with all of this stuff. I mean, because part of this is think about the commercials even that are on TV right now this time of year, right? What do they all show? People smiling, people laughing, coming together, generations, families around a table. You see all of these. It's all about celebrations of togetherness. And when people don't have that, it might be shining a light on that for them, and they might actually be grieving inside. So let's be mindful of that as we also approach this conversation, and we talk about how to do whatever it is that we need to do. And for others, it's not about this celebration. It's about solace and reflection. Some people want to spend time alone. They want to reflect on their religious beliefs. They might want to read scripture. They might want to have moments of meditation. They might want to sit in front of a fireplace and just enjoy. Sit in front of a tree with the lights off. That is one of my favorite things. Late at night, everybody's in bed. I like to sit in front of the TV with the lights on. I will sometimes put on the fake fireplace on my TV, and I'll sit there and I'll enjoy just the solace, the solitude, the quiet, and just the beauty of the season. And so even create opportunities like that for people. Maybe quiet. That could be part of the celebration. Intentional quiet that gets created. So think about how we could do that as well. And the bottom line is everybody has their own way of approaching the holiday season. And so we really want to make sure that we're really thinking about what it is that we're doing, and we're being intentional in our engagement with people. Again, if people want to unmute their microphone, I don't know if we've got Stephen. If Stephen is here, I didn't see him on earlier. I wanted to see if there's anything in the chat that I need to be doing. Let's see. Yeah, that was hard. Glad. I hope that that you can hear everybody now. It was a little bit hard to hear Sherry in the beginning, because there can be some backdrop noise sometimes. So apologize for that.
Lee, I'm here. I'll keep looking at the chat for you.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that.
And the sound was
and they're about arranging for residents to help in dishes.
Modulating. There was an echo.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay now, Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What's cooking? To do a what's cooking idea. Really great idea. I love it. I love that idea. So, I hope you guys are still not getting any echo from me. So I hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah. No. Echo
yes, Kelly.
Yeah. No echo.
Okay, thank you. And if you can Kelly, if you just want to interrupt me at any point with anything that's in the chat, okay. Thank you. So I just want to share with you guys, I have an aging mother. Mother is 92. And this is the first year that my mother is not going to be celebrating Christmas with me and my family. So it's going to be a different Christmas for us. My mother is actually going to be going to my sister's who lives in Philadelphia. So I'm very happy for her to do that. But it's going to be a different Christmas for my children, for my family in Illinois. But my sister in Philadelphia and her boys will get to enjoy my mother this year in her home, which my sister has not been able to do for many years. So it can be evolving. And we need to allow those holidays to evolve as well, as our times change and our life paths start to change.
Hey Lee, quick question before you move on. Someone asked in the chat about adjusting volume. They can't. Wanted to know, can you allow them to?
I don't have controls over people adjusting their volumes or not adjusting their volumes. So that's something that they have to do on their end completely. So I would say there are buttons at the top where you can click on the button at the top or at the bottom of the screen. I'm looking to see where, or the top of the screen. There's usually a control for volume there. Let's see. Well, I'm looking to see, I can change mine to stereo. I'll see if that helps. Does this seem to be helping my volume changing at all? I'll keep talking, Kelly, so you can tell me if this is changing it. I changed mine to stereo to see if that would change anything. Okay. I don't know if it's working or not doing anything.
No one has said anything in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, so unfortunately I can't control your volume, so I apologize for that. But I can try to speak up louder. So I will be mindful in trying to do that. So
the feedback is the volume is there. Everyone else hears the echo. I hear an echo too.
You do.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Were you always hearing an echo? You know what? Maybe everybody isn't muted. If I can mute some people, sometimes that can be creating an echo. I'm just looking to see.
Lee, there's also requests for printouts or copies.
Okay, yes, I can make sure that these get posted onto our website. And so I will, what you could do is, Kelly, if you want to put the link in for the Department on Aging, the Ombudsman page website, we can put the slides up in there.
I got you.
Okay. Now, are you still seeing my my PowerPoint or not?
Yes.
Okay. So I am not. So I've got to go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, there we go. Okay. So that was just a technical difficulty little commercial in there. So let's talk about personalizing the holidays for individuals. So one of the things that I just want to bring forward is a cookbook. And I purposely picked as that picture, that Betty Crocker's cookbook. I don't know if any of you ever have seen a Betty Crocker cookbook. I had the yellow version. My mother had the red version. But that's a cookbook that I've seen in many, many people's kitchens through the course of time. And bringing that cookbook in, or bringing any cookbook in, having family members bring that cookbook in, and talk about holiday recipes. I mean, if you even look at what Betty Crocker has on the front of hers, it's a turkey. It's a turkey on the cover. So and there's pictures in there. So it can even be just talking about the recipes, maybe picking out recipes that you want to cook. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Writing out holiday cards. I know that this is really a tradition of my mother's generation. Sending Christmas cards is something that my mother does faithfully every year. She sends Christmas cards out to everybody and anybody, and she writes little notes in all the cards, and it's just something that my mother truly enjoys doing and truly, truly enjoys receiving. And that's part of the reason why she says she does it. I asked her, Mom, why do you keep doing the cards every year? And she's like, because I love to get the cards back. So sending out Christmas cards, making that be an event for your residents. Do that. Or have that be, as a family member going to visit their loved one in the facility, bring the address book with you and write cards together. And and reminisce about the card writing. Have a nice cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and just some spiced cider, hot cider, and just relax and enjoy the writing of the cards. And it's not about the act of actually getting the cards written as much as it is about spending that time together and celebrating the holidays the way somebody has done that in the past. Bringing in traditional foods and enjoying these while reminiscing, while talking. There's a lot of holiday tradition around that. I know the Jewish religion has a lot of holiday traditions around food. All the food has special meaning, going through and doing those celebrations, even for people that are not Jewish, so that they can understand the traditions behind those experiences. I mean, it can really be just, again, a learning opportunity, but also a comfort that can be brought. And just coming together, lighting the menorah, lighting the Advent candle, just being together and doing those celebrations. So some other things to talk about, ways that we can really include our loved ones in the gift-giving season. Many people that live in long-term care, they feel guilty because people give them stuff, but they can't go shopping to go get their loved ones things to do. So maybe we should be creating opportunities for them to make gifts, purchase gifts, go shopping, do things like that. So it can even be things such as wrapping presents, getting boxes and wrapping presents together. That can really be just I know that is actually probably one of the things I do enjoy about Christmas, is doing the wrapping of the gifts, making them pretty, putting on the bows, adding some special things to the outside of it to make it look more festive. I talked about writing those greeting cards together. What about creating a collage of pictures of families and friends coming together? It could be ask family members or have family members bring in family pictures, and then get picture frames and put them all in the picture frames together to make a gift that then the family member can keep and have and love, but with their loved one in all of those beautiful pictures. So think about how you could help the family along with things like that as well. Baking cookies or other foods then that you can share together. And that can be a great intergenerational thing. And I firmly believe that everybody, one of the things that I would do when I did a lot of work with people with dementia is we'd have one group of residents making the cookies that we were going to cook and eat, and another group just with their hands in the flour and pour water in there or crack an egg on their hands, just to experience the sensingness of that cooking experience and getting their hands dirty and full of dough, and then taking it and putting it on a cookie sheet but not cooking them. So again, we all felt like we were a part of this experience, but we're not eating those cookies that didn't have all the ingredients in there. They were just there for the stimulation effect. Being able to decorate seasonal wreaths, get wreaths. You could decorate those wreaths together, and then they could be hung on people's doors. Or a resident could give it to a staff member who they want to hang on their door of their office. Think about, that's a way that they can help give back to these people that are caring for them on that day to day. And I think a lot of people, a lot of residents want to do that. They want to give gifts to their caregivers, to those CNAs, to the activity staff, to the dietary people, to their housekeeper that's there for them all the time. So can we create opportunities for them to be able to do that? Another idea is creating a piece of artwork together. Is there something that we can do? I am a fan of getting canvases, blank canvases that you can get fairly cheap. I've even seen them at the dollar store before. And just have people make things on the canvas. That, again, can be a gift. It could be abstracts. It could be giving them a pre-written thing of a reindeer on a canvas that they can paint, like a paint by numbers kind of a thing. But making it be a genuine adult craft that can then be given to somebody that they actually value and they would hang up and use in their homes, not making it be something that they feel like it has no value and meaning to it. Make it have some good, that it's an adult craft that's being done. Another idea is to decorate your residence room. You know, as a family member, come in and decorate the room. I love what this family did. They made a fireplace. They just got paper and they made a fireplace, and those are all hands that make the fire up. Wouldn't it be really cool if you had families and visitors come in and they could even write their names on there? Grandkids can do that for their grandparents, and they could have the fire grow as people come to visit them during the holiday seasons. So these are ideas of things that we can do. I know I was on a call with a couple of my girlfriends a couple of weeks ago, and many of them have moms. It's mostly been moms, one dad, that have lived in a long-term care community, and many of them have passed away now. But they started sharing, because one of our girlfriend's mother just moved into a nursing home, and they started sharing ideas that what they did to help celebrate with their mom or dad during the holidays. And they all shared how much decorating the room together was just fun. They played Christmas music. They brought decorations from home that mom used to use. They just enjoyed it. Put, snow on the windows. They put clings on the windows. They just really enjoyed doing that. And another friend shared how she would take her mom for rides all the time. Her mother had pretty severe dementia, and so she would always take her mother out for rides. They used to go out someplace, but her mother couldn't do that anymore. So she would just take her for rides at nighttime during the holiday season to take a look at all the lights. She'd pack a thermos of hot cocoa, and her and her mom would go just driving around, stop in front of one of those houses that had a lot of decorations, have a cup of hot cocoa together, and just talk and laugh or be together in silence. These, I think, are beautiful ideas of things that we can do with our loved one. So just because somebody can't necessarily talk with you and reminisce with you doesn't mean you can't do it with them, that you can't still share your experiences with them. I had a person with dementia say to me a long time ago, I might not remember who you are, but I will remember how you made me feel. And I think that that's a really important thing for us to remember, particularly during the holidays. So remember that. I might not remember who you are, but I do remember how you make me feel. And during the holidays, this is a perfect opportunity to make people feel good. So here's the thing, though. Meaningful visits shouldn't just be limited during the holidays, right? We should be looking at how can we engage as family members all the time with our loved ones. Because, I hear many times families come in, they go into the long-term care community, and the first thing they say is, "Hi, Mom, how are you feeling today?" Well, that sets the visit up typically down a pretty bad path, because Mom probably isn't feeling good. That's why she's in the nursing home, right? People aren't healthy that are in the nursing home. They're there because they have a physical inability at that given time, or they're in pain. They're experiencing something. And so when we start off with, "How are you feeling?" all we're doing is bringing that conversation to a place of negativity. They're not feeling good. You start to feel guilty. You want to solve it for them, and it just brings the relationship to a different place. So instead, Let's think how we can do things outside that box whenever we just go to visit our loved one any time of the year. So just some things that are written up here on the screen. Look at any interests that your loved one used to do and try to incorporate these into the visit. So, what were some of the things they like to do? Did they like to read? If they spent a lot of their day reading, bring a book in and read. Read together. If mom is an independent reader, get the same book and do your own little book club. It's something that it would give you something to talk about. You're not focusing on the negativity. You're focusing on a new piece to your relationship. You're on a book, on whether the book is good or bad, or what was your favorite part. What characters did you like? Was it a nail biter? Was it a romance story? And talking about those types of things. Looking at what they did through the course of their day prior to coming into the nursing home. How can you incorporate that into their current day as something of value and meaning for themselves? Another thing to do is to use that activity calendar. My grandmother was in a nursing home, and my mother would end each visit by stopping at the activity calendar and saying to her mom, "Mom, I'm coming tomorrow," or "I'm coming on Friday. Here's the activities for the day. Anything here you want to do? And why don't I'll come during that and we'll do that together." It gave them such a great time together. And one of the things my grandmother loved to do was the travelogue. So my mom would come every week. She'd come with a cup of coffee from McDonald's for my grandmother because she loved McDonald's coffee. She'd come with a cup of coffee from McDonald's. My mom and her would sit there. They'd listen to the travelogue. My mother loved to travel. And then after that travelogue, my mother would share other trips that she had. It gave them a direct, natural way to lead into other conversations. Then they'd talk about their trips and their, just the reminiscence of that. They talk about when my mother was a child. She lived in New York. They'd go up to the Catskills in the summertime, and she'd talk about that. And it just brought their relationship to a nice, happy place, as opposed to focusing in on how she feels. So that activity calendar can be such a really useful tool to use. So I want to encourage people, use that to help plan your visits. Another thing is, don't hesitate to ask that activity department for any supplies that they might have. They'll share. They want to share that stuff. They might have cards, table games, paper, pens to be able to write letters, puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. I guarantee they've got a lot of books that you could read. They've got things. Go there. Ask them if you can use some of those. Maybe even just spend some time with mom going in and say, "Can we take a look at the games that you have?" And taking a look at the games and say, "How about, Mom, next time I come, let's play some Jenga, or let's play Connect 4, or let's play a game of cards," because now you know the supplies are there. But it gave you something now to plan for your next visit. So think about how you can use that activity department really to your advantage. And you know what? That's something the activity departments want to do. They want to do these types of things. Other things, pets and children bring smiles to people's faces, right? They bring smiles to most people's faces, I should say. So bring your pet in. Bring your grandchildren in. Bring your children in. And it really does light up the room. I know when I worked with one of the dementia units that I spent a lot of time on, there was a gal who would come every week with her baby. And she came there because her grandmother was there, but her grandmother was no longer there. And she wanted to come to the dementia unit because that's where her grandmother lived. And so she would come there with her baby, and she would allow all the women there to hold her baby, and they all thought that it was their grandchild. And it was beautiful. They all just went right to their place like, "Oh, she brought my grandchild in to visit." And it was wonderful and beautiful. So those are the types of things. Encourage that to happen. Encourage your children to bring in their children so that people can enjoy that. A pet. I do want to say, if you're going to bring a pet into a long-term care community, please make sure that you do bring their shots, bring their records, so that way then they can make sure that and it's typically the activity department that you should clear that with, but that way then you've got it right there with you so that they can feel very confident and comfortable that this animal can go around and visit many people, if that's something that you would like to do. But pets really can bring a smile to people's faces. And it doesn't just have to be a dog. It could be a cat. It could be a rabbit. If you got a little guinea pig, bring that. Bring your pets in to come and visit your loved ones. Let them in. Let them get that love from those animals as well. So I talked about this cookbook idea earlier. So like I said, it doesn't have to be even about the act of cooking. Sometimes that might not work because there might not be a place to cook. But if there is a place where you can cook, I want to fully encourage that. But discuss what goes into the recipe. So again, I had a conversation over the weekend with some friends about meatloaf. We all talked about how we made our meatloaf. Not any of us made it the same way, but we all loved it. And we all talked about what it is that we added to our meatloaf. And it was a fun conversation because I got some ideas of things to do to add a little zest to my meatloaf. So those can be fun conversations to have too, talking about those types of things. And I want to encourage you, if mom, grandma, dad had that recipe that they always made, but no one quite knows what was in it, find out what it is now, because you're going to regret if you don't find that recipe now, because you're going to want to be able to create it sometime and they may not be here for it. So do things like that. Bring things around food in a cookbook. Other ideas is to bring in the newspaper or magazines. And if it's somebody who is a dementia related, you could talk about the day, the month, the year, the weather. You could talk about what's happening in the news, but sometimes that can get a little overwhelming, especially nowadays. But read the Dear Abby and say, what is it, Mom, what would be your advice for this lady who's called in about not being able to get her son out of the house, and he's 40 years old and she feels it's time he leaves? What would you offer, Mom, as advice for that? Horoscopes. Read the horoscopes. Think about, do the puzzle in the newspaper together. Work on that together. The crossword puzzle, the Sudoku puzzle, the can you find puzzle where one thing is missing that's different than the other in the picture. Those are all in the newspapers. Bring that in. So there can be some other ideas. How about creating a picture album or bringing in picture albums? I have a box of pictures at home, a huge box of pictures, and I always say someday if I need to get a hip replaced or my knees replaced, I'm going to go into the rehab facility, I'm going to go into the nursing home, and I'm going to bring that box of pictures with me, and I'm going to be working on making picture albums, because that will give me dedicated time to do this, because I never have time to do this. So that's something even. Why not encourage people to do that? I'm sure people have boxes, drawers, someplace where they put those pictures. Get those brought in and start creating albums together. Creating memory books and scrapbooks, and go through the old pictures and write life stories. My mother, like I said, she's 92, and my mother has written down little vignettes of things that are happened in her life, and she's put it together all as a book, and when she turned 90, she gave that to all of us. And these were just memories that she had from when she was little all the way up to the current right now. And she typed them all out. I did a lot of editing to put them into the book together, and when she turned 90, we had a birthday party for her, and she gave that as a gift to all of my siblings, as well as to the grandchildren, and it was just a really neat thing. I also want to share that one of my girlfriends, whose mother was in that dementia unit, she's the one who brought her mom out for those rides. The activity department there had done a thing with her where they did a family tree, and they had her as a central trunk of the tree, and then all the leaves off the tree were the different family members. And my girlfriend came from a family of 9, so there were 9 branches, and on the 9 branches were the grandchildren, and then from the grandchildren were the great-grandchildren, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Beautiful. They brought that when she died. They had that at her wake, and that was even the back of the program that they had at her funeral. They had that on the back of it, which was just beautiful, and that would have never happened if it wasn't for that activity department. So these are the types of things. Sometimes we think, oh, we're doing it just as an activity, but they have deeper meaning for family members when we go and we pursue and we look deeply at how can we make these things be something for everybody to truly enjoy. Other ideas. As a family member, most of us have a phone now, right? And we've got this video thing built right into our phones. Why not every time you go, ask a question of your loved one and videotape it? Ask one question. Mom, what was your favorite memory growing up? Videotape it. And then you could start putting those all together. And that's for the future, for that grandchild who was never got to really know grandma. For that, as your children get older, so they can hear grandma's voice talking about her life. So, other ideas of things that you can do. Write letters. The art of writing letters has really disappeared, right? The art of writing letters. It's just disappeared. So, bring that back. Bring back that art of writing letters. My mother was sharing the other day how my sister-in-law sent my mother a card, and my mother sent her a letter back, and my sister-in-law sent my mother a letter back, and now they both live in the Chicago area, and they see each other, but they've become pen pals just from writing back and forth with each other, which is it brings a smile to my mother's face, because this is my husband's sister that's doing this writing to my mother, which is really nice. Promote intimate moments, giving hand massages, doing nails, brushing hair. The reason why it made me think of this one, to write this one down, is one of my girlfriends said that her mother, when she would go visit her mother, so it would have been my girlfriend's it would have been my girlfriend's grandmother, when her mother would go to visit her grandmother, she would brush her hair. And that was an act of love, that brushing of hair. And the grandmother really loved it. So now, several years, let's fast forward. Now my girlfriend's mother's in the nursing home. And when the mother was very, very ill and sick, she said to my girlfriend, "Carol, why have you never brushed my hair?" So, I didn't realize the intimacy of what brushing hair can really do, that bond that can be created between people with a mother and a daughter and a mother, of that brushing hair. Doing those nails, having that hand massage, that physical contact with each other, instead of just the hug, creating more intimacy through those acts. Taking people out, get them out of the building if you can. Go out for lunch, outing, shopping, even just to walk, even just to sit out on the front steps of the nursing home. You want to try and plan it when it won't be too busy, especially if your loved one is confused or has a hearing problem, because that can really make people produce some anxieties. Also, if you need staff assistance, being able to get your mother into the wheelchair or into a car or something like that. You don't want to do that around a time when there's a lot of activity happening in the nursing home, because it's going to be a lot harder for it to happen. So don't think at noon, I want to take mom out for lunch, so at noon, I'm going to come and ask for help from the nurse's aide to get my mom in the car. Because at noon, that nurse's aide is trying to get 10 people into the dining room for lunch. So we've got to be mindful about all of those things as well. And one thing we always want to make sure is, if we ever take a loved one out of the long-term care community, is that we let the nurses know that we're doing this, because we don't want them to think that people just came up missing. We want to make sure that they know that the person has gone out of the building. So really be mindful about that as well. And like I said, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just go for a ride. You can go through the drive-thru at McDonald's and get an ice cream cone, get a cup of coffee. You can do any of those types of things. And you could go sit in a park and just the beauty of the park. Kelly, does somebody have something to share?
Yeah, there are things in the chat.
Do you want to read it so you want to hit the echo?
Yep, sure, absolutely. Okay, so let me
start at
3:25.
Okay. So let me see. I've got to get there. You said 3:25?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So Christmas stockings, especially with useful gifts. I like that. Yes, why not have people even make those Christmas stockings, decorate the Christmas stockings, and hang them up. They can be hung up on their door. I know we already missed St. Nicholas Day, but that's something even I know a lot of people will do stuff like that on a St. Nicholas Day type of thing. I think I just missed one. Email, let me see. So what am I getting here? Invite churches to create small bags, containers of tiny items, particularly if container is useful, like a fabric or a plastic tote or a reusable drink container, or another organization. Many organizations are looking for people to give to during this time of year. So it's reach out to these groups. Offer to help residents to use their own cell to photograph the self in cool areas of the facility. Why not? Yeah, take a picture of themselves by the tree. That would really be great. Offer to help in text, email people that, yeah, like we do at home, right? We just decorated the tree. Here's a picture of it. I got those pictures over the weekend from my sister. Homemade hand rest. I haven't heard about this one. Edible hand lotion recipe you can make and then you can share with others. Very cool. It's an activity that they did in one of their nursing homes. It was great. So I'm sure you could Google that. I'm sure that you could Google that. Great idea. Hot chocolate party, happy hour. Candy canes are popular, but that's sugar. Oh, it's okay. You can use sugar. People can have sugar. They're not going to die. If they want it, they can have it, right? We all know that. People can have it. Cookies, having soft cookies. Yeah. Many times a sugar cookie can be a lot softer than a chocolate chip cookie. Christmas games, memory trivia, Christmas bingo. Yeah, I've seen that can be a lot of fun. You can play jingo instead of bingo, right? And using the sleigh bells when they get it instead of saying bingo. And yeah, that could be a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. Have everybody, maybe even get Christmas hats for everybody and do Christmas. Have everybody wear Christmas hats and be festive for that event. Fun ideas. Great ideas. Okay, let me get out of my chat. And okay, so let's see some other ideas, and these are just some more ideas that gets me done on an everyday feature. Do laundry. If your nursing home has a washer and a dryer available, what a great thing to do with your loved one. Do the laundry while they're there. Don't take it home to do it. Do it while you're there. Sit with them, get a cup of coffee, put the laundry in, start folding laundry, fold socks. Just enjoy that time together by doing laundry. Garden. Why not offer, as a family member, to do some gardening around the nursing home? You can anybody can do gardening. If you got an overflow of lilies growing in your backyard, bring them in and see if, you can do some gardening together. Arranging flowers. You could get, sometimes florists will even give you some of their flowers that are more on their last legs. Or I've had funeral parlors donate them, taking them apart and then using them to create other beautiful arrangements. That's something else that can be done. Arranging flowers, cooking together, clipping coupons. I think I've shared this story before, but I worked on one dementia unit where there was a nurse's aide who was so wonderful with the people that lived in that community. And the ladies there would clip coupons for her all the time because she told them she needed to buy a new car and was saving every penny that she could. So if they could clip coupons for her, they'd help her save money to buy her car. So they gave meaning and purpose for it, right? They gave meaning and purpose for clipping those coupons. So they're clipping, look at this one's $1 off laundry detergent. It's putting you closer to your car. And then she would report back on them. She wasn't using the coupons, but she had that facade of them helping her, which they to do to buy the car. What she did with those coupons is, because she did not buy a lot of those things, she took those coupons and she put them down in the break room for all the staff to be able to share in. And the staff used them and they looked forward to it. So just, again, think about how you could do things. But many times if you provide meaning and purpose to the activity, it's embraced so much more so than it is just to say we're going to clip coupons today, right? Why? What's the purpose there? Clip them for a purpose, to save for that brand new car. How about collecting items and collecting stamps? Reading a book together, listening to music, watching a game show on TV, or the Wheel of Fortune, or Jeopardy, or anything like that. Those are all things that we can do together. Watching Wheel of Fortune can be a lot of fun together. I've seen many long-term care communities do that, and it can create a lot of laughs as people are playing that. And here's that piece that Sherry was speaking to earlier. Invite others who live in the community who engage with you. As family members, we can foster relationships between your loved one and others in that community. Work on introducing your loved one to somebody else, especially if they don't have that sense of community. That other individual doesn't have that sense of community. And think about the table mates. Maybe invite them to join you when you're just sitting around and visiting with mom. Join the current activities that are happening, like I said. But don't sit by yourself off in a corner with mom playing bingo. Go sit at a table with other people and introduce yourself and get to know the other residents that live there and introduce your loved one to the other people who live there. Be a part of the community. Don't be a separateness to the community as a family member. I hope you guys are hearing that message strongly. Embrace the community. Become a part of it. Don't create a separateness of you and your loved one. Try to really foster those relationships. So, we just have a couple of minutes left here. And if anybody would like to share how they plan on spending their time with their loved one during Christmas, during the holidays, during Hanukkah, during any of the celebrations that people celebrate during this time of year, please do feel free to share. I'd love to hear. Let's see. I see that there's 2 more things in the chat. I think we got some people's brains going. Hot chocolate bombs. Gotta love that idea. Director of Shenanigans, do you want to share with us what that looks like, the hot chocolate bombs? Got the unmute? It can be hard to find sometimes. The microphone thing. I'm going to take off the...
here it is. I got it.
Okay, and I'll stop sharing. It makes it easier. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, what we do with our residents is I'll melt the chocolate down, and they have different molds, and it's up to our residents to put whatever they want inside. So we have like dehydrated marshmallows, peppermint dust, peanut butter. What else did we? Hot chocolate. Yeah, hot chocolate. And then once they make the pre molds, we put them in the refrigerator, warm up some milk, and then we have hot chocolate afterwards.
So you put them in the refrigerator, and that makes it freeze, and that makes for the bomb to happen.
Yes, because you temper the chocolate.
Okay, fun.
And the residents are able to make the hot chocolate bombs in the style that they like.
Fun. That sounds like a lot of fun, something different. I'm sure that many people have not experienced something like that, so it's also a new experience for them.
Yeah, and they also eat the melted chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Take pictures of.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. It sounds delicious. That's a fun idea. And I want to encourage, families, I want to encourage family members to do these things, to really integrate. I can't say it enough about integrating that family experience along with the community experience, the nursing home, the assisted living, that wherever your loved one may be living. To integrate that experience so it doesn't feel like it's separate, like the worlds are separate. Because that's when it gets difficult for those that live in long-term care, is when they lose that sense of community. If there's one thing that I've learned through the course of this last year from having multiple interviews with residents, is that sense of community is extremely, extremely important to them. And they need each other because they might have loved ones, people that care about them that don't live in that same community with them, but having to know that there's somebody that's living with them that they can feel supportive of is really just gives a sense of security. So that's what I really want to encourage, that sense of security and being able to integrate with each other together. Anybody else have anything they want to share? I hope everybody could understand that a little bit. It was cutting up a little bit for me. I think we're having one of those Zoom days where things don't want to work out so well with the internet, but I'm hearing everybody. Go ahead, Sherry.
I did have one thing. I echo, so I apologize. But the CMS has this goal of making long-term facilities, specifically nursing homes like skilled, more homeless. Toward that end, I was allowed for a while to put up an inner door bottom, not that cold, but it seals the door seal. Because there's smoking in my facility. I really wish there were more facilities that didn't, but it's okay, we're working on it. Anyway, so anything, decoration, anything that makes them feel more home-like. And I have started calling my room, which I share with two other people, my area, my bedroom, instead of my room area.
Oh.
And that sort of cements the idea that this is my home, and in fact, maybe for life, because I'm declining. So the mouth works, but everything else is not so good. So, trying to come up with things like that, I decorated with Christian paraphernalia, which is my purview. And I put a valance over my light faded, like a home dimmer kind of a thing. So different things like that. When they give me things and activities or for donations, I try to make them decorative and more like I would have my home in my 30s. I'm 60 now. So anything, music, I try playing it all the time. Right now it's always Christmas music. And different kinds. Mainly oldies, classics. I've done YouTube playlists. I'm close with this. I know made it all over. And periodical. So anything to make it more accompanying. There you go.
Sherry, that's, yes, because, and personally, I don't even like to use the word home-like. I want it home. So I want to lose the word like. I just want to make it feel more like home, period, right? Because that home like makes it feel like it's supposed to be like a home, but it actually is a home for people. So, and you're right on target. Do what you can to make your experience. I love the idea of calling your room your bedroom. It is your bedroom. You're absolutely right. I love that. That is a great way of being able to look at that language and how that changes the way people think about the whole experience. So very well said, Sherry. Love it.
The important thing to know is to look up what the CMS says about their goals for living in a nursing home or long-term care facility and home life.
Yep.
They have a whole rating on it.
Yep. And that's what the Illinois Pioneer Coalition, who actually sponsors the Zoom for these meetings, that's what they're all about, is talking about practices that can make things be more home for people that live in long-term care. And because it's actually written in those federal regulations, like you said, Sherry. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services very much advocates for this to be part of it. And it's written in the guidelines to the surveyors to be looking for those things. That's what puts a smile on everybody's face when they see that this home is truly feeling like a home for the people who live there. I mean, that's really important. And it's supported, like you said, by the federal government is supporting this. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services supports all of this. So, and if you look at all of our videos that we have, there's a lot of information out there on those videos regarding this. I see that we're over our hour right now, so I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to stop our recording. And I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays. No matter what those holidays are that you celebrate, I want you to know that the State Ombudsman Office for the state of Illinois wishes you happy holidays and hopes that you have the holiday experience that it is that you are looking for. So, happy holidays, everybody.